Well, the idea for this is a 24 by 36 inch canvas, by the way. The idea for this one, I think I would like to do is sort of a rocky knoll, water in the foreground, you know, this will be the edge of it. We'll see some boulders here, and then, you know, sort of a grass covered area, a few evergreens, not too windswept, not too ragged. So despite all my complaining about triangular trees, I think the ones in this painting will be fairly triangular. So there's that. And I don't know what I'll do with the sky yet. Just sort of, I don't know, it's a scene that's similar to scenes I've come across many times out in the boat. It's mostly about the design. It's going to be a pretty simple design, really, as far as I'm concerned. So I want to establish first where it is. Okay, so I figured this is the water. We're about a quarter of the way up the canvas. I think halfway between here and here, we'll bring in the top of the knoll, or of the hill, or whatever you want to call it. You know, roughly, you know. And you'll see I'm putting this in a little to right of center. I don't want it dead center, obviously. I think we'll do something like that. Something like that, and I'm going to put a tree in right away. Yeah. Our light's going to come from the left, and I'd like to divide this space into light and shade. I'm not exactly sure where to draw that line right now. Maybe something like this, but I'd like to break it. I think I want to drop it down that quickly. More like so. And let's say there's a cleft with a bit. You know, I kind of like the idea of this maybe being grass or moss covered or something, or lichen covered, and then you know, showing a slice here, a cleft where you're going to see some rock, because there's going to be more rock in the foreground as well. I am taking this notion from two different paintings that I've done in the past. I'm not using them for reference, but I have access to one of them, not the painting itself, but an image of it. So I'm kind of thinking of that, but I don't want them sitting there for reference, because I'll end up falling into the trap of copying something I've already done, and I'm not big on that. I really prefer using my imagination. Okay, let's say we have an evergreen here. See, so it's not mountainous, it's not way off in the distance, because we're keeping our trees pretty close. And I'd like something on the left. I'm not exactly sure how far down. Yeah, this tree would be in the center of the painting, but who cares? Because there's going to be a lot of information. I can pull the focal area to the right or to the left. Probably going to be to the left anyways. So I'm not too worried about where this tree is going to end up. But it'll be something like that, I guess. No, let's go down all the way there. Okay, yeah, you'll see a bit of rocky grain striation or cuts or whatever in this cleft. So if this is aiming down like so, don't want to make it too much like an upside down frown. Then if this goes like so and our cleft goes like this, that's sort of my guide. This side, it's catching some sun. This side, it's mostly in the shade. Okay? Shade, sun, ish. I often do that when I'm doing a structure or a hillside or something I kind of like to establish. Not on a single tree trunk or even on a single tree for the most part. Well, a little bit on a single tree, I suppose. But certainly on a mass of land. Now, this points down. I think I better stop that somehow. Actually, I already don't like how this is going. It's a little better, I suppose. Yeah, okay. But here, starting about here, I want to put something, and I am winging it right now. Excuse me. Some kind of rocky structure. Yeah. That dips down, maybe something like that. We come in here, like so. Maybe we'll have the backside of another rock here, and then petering down to less important ones here. I don't know. I'm really feeling my way through this. Just keep a reminder going in here. I would like to have it cut in like that a little bit. flick off the excess charcoal. Just going to remind myself that that's dropping down. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, and this is very much foreground. This is pushed back a little bit. I think I'd like to have, maybe even sort of distant trees. I don't know. We'll see. I think that looks all right. And the sky. It occupies a lot of space. I don't want to make it too simple. I have some fairly strong horizontal line here, but this wanders around quite a bit, so I could do a sky that stays fairly horizontal, or I could jump around like crazy. But I don't want the sky to be so strong that it competes with this. I'd like to keep it somewhat toned down, I think. Okay, this will catch light. Let's just put a line in just to feel it. Just to feel it. Okay. Now, in my mind, that just told me something. Told me that I don't want strong horizontal lines. It told me that I want something else. And I don't have to decide that right now. I'm pretty sure that I would like to have some trunk showing on this one here. Maybe just on the bottom of this one, maybe it'll be something like that. Okay, I'll have a lot of opportunity to redefine those lines. So we'll just have a little sit and revisit it and see how it goes. Well, you can see I've made a few changes. Yeah, I've been dabbling here and there, and I'm pretty much there for the moment. I don't need to do a whole lot more. But then, this isn't, as I said, it's a fairly simple composition here. I want to make this slightly behind these rocks. A little bit behind. Okay, so we'll cut down to here, roughly. Sure. We don't want a perfectly straight line there anyway, but that's kind of what we're after. so I'm not erasing it, I'm just smudging this line. Oh, yeah. So I've been playing with these trees quite a bit. Sometimes I have a tendency when I'm putting trees on a bank to lean them out more than I should, or to lean them in more than I should. I want them to stay fairly vertical looking. Don't care what any measurements are, it has to look right. So I think we're ready for some line drawing with a bit of paint now. Well, there are a few things that I am sure of, and a lot of things that I'm not. So, I'm going to paint in the things that I am sure of, and that'll help me decide what to do about the things that I'm not. Or it may actually aid in making the decisions about other areas. But I thought it was time to get busy on that. So, away we go. I've been playing with these trees so much that I thought, okay, I have to commit to something. This is just silly. So I can at the very least outline them. And don't forget, I'm going to be painting around them when I wash in, and also when I paint them. So, you know, the charcoal was sort of the first idea or ideas. The wash-in is the second round of ideas and some refinement. And the painting is the third and hopefully final round of refining those thoughts, and hopefully by then you've given yourself enough information that you get it right. Wait a minute, I guess I should be talking about myself, because it's really me who's worried about the painting. Yep, we're just going to go down like that. Ultramarine blue and raw ombre. And of course turpentine. I'm pretty happy with that line. Like this one. I'm using this fairly new brush because I want to get my lines quite accurate on these trees. I don't want to just go in with a well-used and splayed brush and end up with a mess on my hands. Don't want to do that. When I'm filling in my colors, I'll do it, but I don't want to do that right now. Yeah, I think we can just... come in right away here. Those will likely end up being little rocks, you know, a little further away than what I'm working on right now, but we'll see. I'm probably going to do a little bit of revising with charcoal in these immediate boulders. So I'm going to leave that for the time being. I also might change very slightly the angle of these lines coming down. So I'm also going to leave them for the moment. Yeah, as I mentioned, if I'm not sure, I won't do it. But I'm pretty sure I will be sure pretty soon. Or at least once I have more information on the painting. Okay, I like that. And I like this little additional knob here. Knob. Additional area of rock showing. So we're gonna, I'm not necessarily gonna leave that line, but it's a good indicator of my thoughts. And fading out towards the bottom, because that can change still. Okay, you know what? Why not just commit to something here? Why not just commit to something here? You can only be afraid of something for so long before you go, all right, just do it. Just put it in there. Okay. Yeah, that's probably going to change, but for the time being, that's okay. I'm even willing to put in this bit of shoreline here. Just up to this rock. Oh, I'm getting carried away now. Part of the problem is that I'm cheap and I still have paint on my palette. And I'm probably not going to do much more right now, so. As a result, I want to use that paint up. It's already mixed for wash-in type stuff, so. And I like the general shape. I think it's good. You know, I often like to do that. Just take a, the end of this rock and then continue the bottom of the rock into the water a little bit. Even if it doesn't stay, it's still a bit of an aid. Still a reminder as we go along of what kind of thoughts were going on. You know, what kind of potentials you have, what kind of options you have. Just going to close that off. Start putting lines in here and it shapes it right away, and I'm still not sure what I want to do with that. This may have a little bit of trunk showing yet. Yeah, possibly, maybe. Just a short bit. I don't know if that'll stay, but we'll see. This one, do I want trunks on all three? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we'll just put a division line there and... one there, probably get painted over. I know all these little tips are bending in different directions. But we have a pyramid. And I like to have the tips of, at least of this one and this one, aiming slightly away from it because it's a very simple painting. If I had three perfectly vertical spires, it would stiffen the main shape considerably. So, you know, these are the three main ones. I'm going to allow them to bend a little bit at the top. Okay, I think that's, again, you know, heading in the right direction. I like it. It's, seems to be fine. Okay, that's going to be... Well, it's all going to be more or less in the shade. This cleft in the rock, so I may as well just paint it in dark right now. And yeah, that land is also going to be more or less. May as well give that tree an anchor back there. And how about if we took some more ultramarine blue, and this time a bit of burnt sienna, and a hint of yellow ochre, just a bit. So we're kind of leaning towards the greens now, but they're very dark. And my brush is dirty and wet, so I may as well just fill that in. Still using a good brush, but the areas that I'm filling in are kind of important that I get them right, so I'm not too concerned about it. It's you have to weigh one against the other, and frankly right now the idea of getting this right is more important than trying to save a brush. I mean, if you're too cheap about stuff, yeah, you can save paint, you can save this, you can save that, but if that's in your mind, I mean, if you're constantly worried about that stuff, there's no room left in your focus for the actual painting. And that is the whole point of this, right? Okay, that's a very dark and opaque green. Well, that's good. That's hunky-dory. Yeah, you know, I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. I would have started with the distant hillsides, but they're fussy enough too that I wanted to do the outlining with my small brush, and I think I would like to put some purple on these distant hillsides, which means I don't want to wash it in with the same colors that I had in my brush originally, which means a whole bunch of, for a relatively small amount of painting, I didn't want to get a brush dirty and go through the washing of the brush and then reintroduce these outlines. Same thing, you know, with your clothing. One of the biggest things one of the biggest causes of wear and tear on your clothing is actually washing it. Same thing goes for a brush. Even if you try to brush it quite gently, you are stressing the bristles. So that's why knowing how much time I have left to paint right now, or roughly how much time I have left to paint, it's not worth dirtying this same brush with two different colors. It's the old risk and reward thing, right? Okay, that's it for the moment.